Oh, my only crime was being happy. That's all I did. I hate you.
Holy shit, Danny.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mark It Down podcast, where I, James Giasanti, and Nick Cummings are reacting to what another day of craziness as AEW releases Phil Brooks, better known as CM Punk. I could tell you I was not expecting this news on a Saturday. I think it's only fair that CM Punk left a dark cloud hanging over an AEW pay-per-view last week. So now he's hanging a cloud over a WWE pay-per-view tonight for Payback.
And an AEW pay-per-view tomorrow.
Chicago is going to explode tomorrow. And I don't think any of us are really prepared for that. But Nick, how do you feel about the news? Because I'm wow.
You're shook. I think we're all pretty shook, and not in a weird like this is like life shattering way, but more in a like holy fuck they actually did it kind of way. Because nobody expected this, especially after everything that happened last year with All Out and the Brawl and everything, and only suspensions were levied and maybe fines. We don't really know all of the details, but we all kind of figured that Tony Khan had a soft spot for CM Punk, and I can't necessarily blame him, but the fact that this is now the second physical incident that Punk has gotten into backstage, and it's not surprising to an extent, but it still is, because I think we all just kind of figured, him and Perry would probably get suspended and then we'd go from there. The fact that, they did a week-long investigation, and according to Tony Khan, they spoke to outside counsel before doing this. But, if they were going to do it, I wasn't expecting it this quickly. I am utterly shocked. And I think the hardest hitting part of this for me is the phrase "with cause" in the statement, because obviously this, like I said, this being the second altercation he's had backstage. Yeah, I think "with cause" is doing a lot of work there.
Tony, I don't know if we want to read the whole statement, but we can. Tony took full responsibility for this. And I appreciate, considering how often he has been criticized for having not taken a stand in the past, I do genuinely appreciate that he was willing to take full responsibility for this. Because, at the end of the day, who else's decision is this? But Khan's statement includes, Phil played an important role within AEW, and I thank him for his contributions. The termination of his AEW contract with cause is ultimately my decision and mine alone. Of course, I wish I didn't have to share this news, which may come as a disappointment to many of our fans. Nevertheless, I am making the decision in the best interests of the many amazing people who make AEW possible every week. Our talent, staff, venue operators, and many others whose efforts are unsung but essential to bringing our fans great shows on television and at arenas and stadiums throughout the world. So Khan is essentially saying he was doing what was best for his company, for everyone involved in this company.
What's best for business?
What's best for business. Sometimes you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. In this case, I don't know who Tony Khan is anymore, but he might want to maybe grab dinner with Triple H.
Oh, maybe. Punk, that is. Maybe. Yeah.
Well, I'm talking Tony, because I think they have more in common now than they did when the company started.
I feel like they would have a pretty decent conversation, but I was going to say, in terms of Punk and Triple H, Meltzer, I was reading Twitter right after this happened, and Meltzer did say that it's possible that, WWE can go and look at Punk, but considering last time when he was, thinking about a comeback, WWE wasn't really feeling it. But Triple H is in charge now. Either way, man,
he's not really anymore.
Well, I think he has personnel decision power. So
Okay.
at least from what I understand, Meltzer said it is Hunter's decision. So I mean, yeah, this is nuts, and I do apologize, everybody. Vermont, that's
Wow.
how important this is.
Nick,
But
Nick, can you hear me?
yeah.
Nick, you broke
Oh, I
up
lost
so
you.
badly there. That was I was hearing 01001. That's how bad it was.
Am I back?
Kind
God, all I
of.
did was lean forward.
Well, maybe stay in that position for the time being.
Yeah, I literally I leaned forward and I dropped from 4 bars to 1. But what I was literally saying was I'm on a phone in Vermont, which is why this is not great. But that's how important this is. CM Punk getting fired is obviously a huge deal here, and it's so funny to me that this is a guy who kicked off 2 new shows for AEW. They literally created the second one so that he could stay away from the people he had the first physical altercation with, and some of the people who like him could go with him and who were on his side after that. And now they have 3 shows, and he will be on none of them.
It's so crazy to think about this journey with Punk. Let's think about it. Let's revisit history a little bit here. Punk is somebody we hadn't seen in wrestling for 9 years. He had left WWE under terrible, terrible terms. Neither party really happy, and Punk being very disheartened with professional wrestling. He had been unseen that entire time in the professional wrestling world. He did MMA for a little bit. We won't get into it. He
was a Walking Dead enthusiast.
Phil Brooks for a little bit, but he stayed away from professional wrestling, and there were many attempts. WWE wanted to warm things over in the very beginning. He had made that return to that Fox TV show.
Yeah,
that talk show about WWE afterwards,
which was good.
It was good, but nothing in the ring for a very, very long time until Tony Khan was able to, I guess, part the Red Sea and make his way to Punk, the promised land of Punk.
There was that one instance where I think he wore a mask and interfered in an indie show, but that was it. And
we don't know.
And we don't even officially know that's him. We all know it's him, but unofficially, officially we don't know.
So, and then it was like a Cinderella story. CM Punk returns to professional wrestling. For him, since he left Ring of Honor, he said. He found his love for the sport again. He was happy to be in this company. He was happy to be in AEW, and he wanted to talk, and he wanted to work with everybody. How many names did we hear him talk about? He teased Bryan Danielson before Bryan was even in the company. He teased he said his dream match that the company could do was him and Bryan Danielson versus the Young Bucks. Crazy all this time later. And
he at least he did fight the Young Bucks. He got that off his list.
Yep, he debuted to Rampage's biggest audience of all time since that show was created. He had his first match in Chicago against Darby Allin, one of the company's brightest and young stars, and it was a roller coaster of a ride. A 2-time AEW champion, competing and beating the majority of the talent the company had to offer. He has wins over MJF. He has wins over Darby Allin. He has wins. He finally beat Samoa Joe. Man, you gotta wonder how Joe feels about that all these years later. He beat Wardlow. He beat Hobbs. He beat Ricky Starks. I mean, granted, Ricky beat him too. He wrestled all the brightest and youngest, beating them. And now he's gone. There's going to be no follow-up. There's going to be no 50-50. There's going to be no getting the win back for a lot of these talents. This is major. This is major. And I don't know. I am sad. I know I was very Team Elite. Now let's get into that too. We know the big fight happened last year, brawl out as CM Punk. What?
No, I'm just realizing the fact that it's been basically a year since that. Like the last year of Punk was just so tumultuous. It's unbelievable. All out to all out.
All out to all in. He didn't make it to the next all out.
True, but I mean, it's all out weekends.
Yeah.
He got pretty close.
He got it. He had a backstage altercation last year with the Elite, and sides were taken. Hold on, let's see. Devin, I'm gonna miss CM Punk in AEW, but now you can have the dumb rumors of him going back to WWE, and to be honest, I do not see it happening. Devin,
me neither.
I'm with you on that. The truth is, we didn't see this happening at all today. We weren't expecting. I didn't see him leaving AEW. So now I don't know what's out there. You know, I don't know if it's going to be CM Punk maybe returning to WWE. I don't know if this is CM Punk maybe going to take a year and then maybe things can get better with him in AEW. I don't know if this means CM Punk is going to be Impact's biggest signing.
TNA.
He started in TNA. He was part of TNA in the very beginning before WWE. He was in TNA. And Impact is having its 1,000th episode next week. They're filming it. Perfect timing. But the big question is he still going to wrestle or is he going to do something else? That's a great question. Punk has already dipped his toes into different avenues. He's written for Marvel Comics. He's done MMA. He's done announcing for MMA. Still does. He acts. He's on Stars Heels with Stephen Amell. There is so much potential and so many possibilities for Punk to move forward and to jump and to do different things with his life. I am a very big believer. I like seeing people end things on their own terms. But now we got to listen to the dumb marks that say we were right. It was only going to last 2 months now. You have to say it's the Elite. You have to say the Elite was right. So first of all, sir, very happy to have you here, Devin. I will say,
welcome.
Mark, we use that term with pride over here. It is not a bad word. It is not a bad term to call somebody a mark here, despite what Dave Meltzer might say. As for the Elite, I don't know how much the Elite had to do with any of this. I don't want to...
I thought they had anything to do with it.
The conspiracy theories are there, my friend.
I know, but they're always going to be. But this doesn't seem like an Elite problem. Obviously, everything that happened last year impacts the decision here, but no pun intended. But this is just, there was another physical incident, and it doesn't matter who with. Yeah. It's because he had another physical incident that you have to fire him. I'm sorry. Like, it's just honestly, as somebody who railed against Tony Khan last year for letting all of that stuff culminated it all out, come to a head there, and me saying that he was I guess I said he was a terrible boss. Somebody who, wasn't taking charge and disciplining his wrestlers and, basically let the inmates run the asylum to an extent. It's nice to see him fucking take a stand against one of his top stars. This is something he had to do. Because I feel like he doesn't do this here, he starts to lose respect of everybody. And at a certain point, like, he was kind of lost the locker room just because of the split to an extent. But the fact that there was a split, and now he has taken a stand, and it's not a pro-Elite stand. It is this man needed to be disciplined, and it being his second offense, I had to discipline him to the highest extent, which is termination with cause.
Danny in the chat saying he thinks he does something else. I am going to lean the same way as well. That's kind of where I'm going. But back to what you were saying, Nick, I agree. Tony needed to take a stand. He needed to show that he is the boss, and he needed to show his employees that they can have faith in him, that they can trust him to protect them. And I think this was the best choice. Now, whether or not this incident with Perry that got him fired, which again, let's talk about real quick. To be honest, the WWE return could happen, but because he has fixed a lot of his relationships over there, including the one he has with Triple H, so you never know. I don't know that he ever fixed that relationship with Triple H. It's possible.
They never really seem to like each other.
But I don't know. But I don't know if Cody has anywhere else to run away from Punk at this point.
I mean, Seth was also out there on red carpets joking he didn't want that, quote, cancer in his locker room. Yeah. So
I am very much at a loss on how to process this. Fire Perry. So now that is a good point to make. If there will be any, what will be the punishment Jack Perry faces, if any? Now, granted, we don't know the results of the internal investigation. We have to believe that on some level, this guy is constantly. Is it real, Dev? It is back. I mean, I will say one thing. The very, very, very skeptic Mark or Smark, I don't even know what I am anymore. The world is upside down. I do wonder what the thought process is in announcing his release the day before their big Chicago show. Do you think there's any chance this is a work?
No, because I think that it being a work would be terrible. First of all,
I agree. I completely agree.
But I think if this is a work, then you putting out a public statement like this to, when you have backers in, Warner Brothers Discovery, and you have, I don't know if he has other investors, but whatever it is, the people who back him, your advertisers, everything. If you pretend to fire a guy who has had multiple physical incidents, then I think that just makes Tony look so bad. That is beyond the late era WCW bad.
Yeah,
like that is what was the XPW, whatever it was. Like it's that level of bad.
Oh God,
you cannot make this a work.
Now again,
no. I think Jack. Side note, I think Jack gets suspended. I think he suspended Punk and the Elite when they had their brawl. He suspended other people for physical altercations. Andrade, Sammy, Eddie Kingston. I think he'll suspend Jack. I don't know how long, but I think he'll definitely be suspended.
Now, again,
that seems like the right play. Tony has established you get a physical altercation, you get suspended. Now you get in two, your ass is canned.
Now, going back to last year, there were certain people who were suspended for a week or a couple of weeks as the investigation unveiled or revealed more information. People like Christopher Daniels, people like what's his name? Brandon Cutler. Those people were suspended until they were either cleared of any wrongdoing or cleared from the investigation in general. And maybe that's going to be the situation here with Perry. We don't know what the results of that investigation were. We don't know because there were two sides to this story. There were two versions of this story. There was version A that Perry confronted Punk backstage very aggressively and physically, and then Punk returned that in kind. And then there's the other version of the story where as Perry's coming backstage, Punk confronts him and then he initiates the physicality. So I don't know what to believe yet. Based off the results of this, I have to believe they found that Punk was the aggressor in this situation. Because no matter what, if you're defending yourself in a physical situation, you're defending yourself. It doesn't matter what your past is. So I don't know that anybody would get fired for self-defense. So let's be clear that we have to be very clear that we don't know what the results are, but certain details have to be examined considering the results now, which is CM Punk being fired from AEW.
Yeah, I think that's a logical conclusion to draw. I mean, it is speculation, but based on what the statement said, I think that's a very fair conclusion to draw. It honestly, it's mind-boggling. It truly, truly is.
I mean, and I want to address Aldridge 96, who, by the way, thank you for being here, buddy. Great having you here. The timing is so bizarre. It can't be a work, but also don't want to let the crowd think he'll turn up. I agree with that assessment, and I agree with that thinking. I know that in his conference call on Thursday, Tony addressed the fact of wanting to have an answer before Sunday for the crowd, and he definitely committed to that. And I appreciate the expediency to this, considering how long we were all left in the dark last year regarding the Elite and the Punk's futures, the Elite and Punk's future with the company. But you have to wonder. There's a show in Chicago tonight and a show in Chicago tomorrow. Was this the right choice? We'll find out. I would not have a single Elite adjacent member of the roster on the show tonight. I would not have Hangman. I would not have Kenny. And we were expecting something Elite-wise because they still needed to book the rest of the show for tomorrow. I wouldn't have any of these guys on the cards.
Yeah, I'd avoid it, although I guess this does give them the green light to eventually show up on Collision, like Kenny said a few weeks ago. So,
yeah, but maybe not Chicago. Maybe not Chicago.
Definitely not Chicago. Like, Bullet Club Gold is going to be the face on fucking Sunday.
Which one's Bullet Club? FTR?
Bullet Club Gold.
Come on.
Bang, bang.
Here. FTR. Come on.
I got you.
You didn't sell the joke at all.
Man, dude, I'm in Vermont. I've been drinking since Thursday. Leave me alone. I love weddings.
Is there no comedy in Vermont? Anyway.
Not really. I haven't seen a moose yet either, and I'm very disappointed.
Fair. I would be too, actually. Just if you do.
Then again, Impact's not touring up here right now, so...
that was good. That was good. Now let's talk about some of the sad realities of this with Punk being gone. If AEW wants to move the drama, just have Christian Cage insult Rodman's dead dad tonight. Oh, it's a foregone conclusion. He smells it. He smells it, man. He looks for it. He just senses it. All right, and we love him for it. But talking about some of the sad realities, yes, I'm wearing a Shinsuke Nakamura shirt because I was prepared to talk about Payback today. But we don't sleep here at the Mark It Down podcast. We are exhausted.
Can't confirm.
So, look.
You know what's exhausted? My arm from holding my phone up.
Put it on a little holder. Put it on.
I don't have a little holder. I'm in a hotel room in the middle of Bumblefuck, Vermont.
Prop it up on like pillows or something. Hold on, we got a comment from Nas between this and
Nas
stuff. What's going on in AEW? Anything can happen in the AEW galaxy. You know, WWE has a universe. We have a galaxy in AEW.
Did I miss something? What's the Rodman stuff?
Dennis Rodman's going to be on Collision tonight.
Oh, sick! I didn't know that.
Yep.
The Worm.
Yep. Former WCW superstar Dennis Rodman. I
hope he hits a leg drop on somebody.
But
I still can't believe he was in a tag match against Karl Malone. It's still the wildest thing I've ever seen.
If you haven't learned by now that anything can happen in professional wrestling, you haven't been paying attention.
It was during the finals. Oh, no, that one wasn't during the finals. But he showed up on WCW during the finals. I'm sorry, I'm derailing the show.
No, you're good. You're good. Dev saying you don't care about AEW now. Dev, I'm sorry to hear that, friend. You know, look, AEW was a great product before Punk. AEW was a great product with Punk. And AEW is going to be, God willing, a great product after Punk. There is a lot of value to this company that extends way beyond CM Punk's reach. And if you don't see that, I respect that opinion. Not every piece of wrestling is for every fan, and you are more than welcome to choose which piece of wrestling media you're going to ingest, if any. I highly recommend sticking around, though, with AEW. Like I said, there is a lot of great talent there. There's a lot of great drama there, and there's a lot of great professional wrestling there. So if you value professional wrestling the same way CM Punk does, he saw something in AEW to want to join there. So hopefully you can see that too. But talking about the things now that we're going to lose out with Punk not being with the company anymore. Ricky Starks was prepped for a big match against Punk, for tomorrow. That's getting changed. We're never going to get Bryan Danielson versus CM Punk. We aren't. We're never going to get true resolution to Punk and MJF, which is, I think, a huge shame for the MJF journey. I don't think he's necessary, but I think he is essential. If that makes any sense. It
does.
I still can't believe Tony Khan pulled the trigger. I give him credit for doing it. Nas, we agree with you,
Same.
pal. It's one of those things that it's a tough decision, and it's a decision I would not want to have to make myself, but it was a decision nonetheless, and we will be debating for a very long time whether or not it was the right decision, and we'll be debating how we got here, and if there was anything that could have been done to avoid it. Personally, I'm of the belief everything that was done to try to avoid this situation. But unfortunately, sometimes explosive combustible elements, they're going to go kaboom no matter how hard you try. You know the deal. Chicago crowd is going to take over all out. Brutal timing on this. Yeah, you know the deal. I'm going to call you Deal. We agree. This was a scary time to be doing this. They're going to be entering a war zone tonight and tomorrow.
The bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Let's remember, I've been a WWE fan for 20-something years. I've been a professional wrestling fan for 20-something years. I was there from Punk's debut in WWE to his debut in AEW. And all that time, I kept hearing CM Punk chants. They never went away. So much so that him coming to AEW was the biggest deal in the professional wrestling world. So I don't know that those CM Punk chants are going to be as strong now because we know a lot more, but they're never going to go away completely. Never ever.
Yeah, I did definitely not in Chicago. I have to go in a minute or two, but I just want to say I agree with you. There is so much stuff that we aren't going to see. I want to throw in him, facing off maybe against Bullet Club Gold. I would love to see him, go toe-to-toe with Jay White. And I don't think we'll ever, if they were willing to do business at some point, we're never going to get to see him face off against anybody from the Elite. And that all sucks. But
so much money on the table.
I know. Look, I think Tony made the right decision here. Punk clearly just could not get out of his own way. I don't know what it was. His ego, just the way he is as a person, because everything he took as a slight, he took to heart, and he was really, really, really petty about it. And we saw it with the Elite. Now we see it with Jack Perry. We saw it with fucking, Nemeth. Like, every little slight was such a huge problem to him, and I am disappointed in what happened. Obviously, I like CM Punk in the ring, and I guess in the ring, but especially on the microphone. And the CM Punk of 2011, 2012, was what got me back into, or helped get me back into wrestling. And the fact now that he has become, he seems like he's just so small now in terms of just the way he has handled all of this. It is really, truly disappointing. But Tony Khan made the right move here. You have to lay down the law, and you can't be in a position where you're in multiple physical altercations with other talent backstage. Whether or not you initiated them, you clearly had some part in them coming up. And like you said before, James, I think it is a reasonable conclusion to think that maybe Punk initiated this one. And, I mean, maybe even the last one, again, depending on whose story you believe. So it's disappointing, but here we are. And I think, like Nas said, I credit Tony Khan for making this decision.
I know, absolutely. Absolutely. Time will tell how this will impact the company. Time will tell how this will impact the fan base. Punk should bring his spray paint belt and show up at Payback tonight. Hey, John Cena is hosting. Full circle, baby. Full circle.
Oh, if you don't think Tony didn't take that belt back the second this shit happened.
Seriously. I don't know where anybody goes from here, but I know that we are going to have lots of questions as we move forward. I know we're going to have lots of concerns as we move forward. The important thing is, look, at the end of the day, we're watching an incredible TV show that if we're watching it in 2023, we love it. We love professional wrestling. So if we love it, we should just try to enjoy it in all the ways we can. Unfortunately, with Punk, every time he got involved with something, there tended to be a fair amount of drama. And, sometimes that drama, as a very successful man in professional wrestling once said, controversy creates cash. And Punk definitely knew that. I would love, my happy ending to this story is that in a year's time, however much time, Punk is able to re-sign and he's able to end his career on his terms.
These feel like his terms, though.
Look, no matter what happened with Punk, no matter what's going on, no matter what he said, he was quoted as saying, I hate this place or whatever it is. He didn't want this. This isn't why he came to AEW in the first place. This isn't what he wanted to see happen after so long away from from professional wrestling. He wanted to end his career on a high note. And we're not there right now. So he said when he re-signed with AEW, his love for professional wrestling was back. I don't know what that means for him. But if it is back, I hope that eventually, somewhere down the line, because we've got to remember his age. He's close. He's, I think, 45, 46.
Yeah, there's a reason he's been so injury prone.
So I want to see things end on a high note for him, no matter what shape that may come in or what form that might be. But he's earned it throughout his career. And this is somebody who has been very critical of Punk since all of this AEW stuff, all this drama from last year started. But he has given too much to this business to not be allowed a proper ending. And he doesn't right now. That doesn't seem like it's in the cards, but God willing, it will come. But I
was gonna say if this is the end for CM Punk, though, wrestling wise, if this is his last chapter, it doesn't feel wrong. But like you said, we don't know where we're going from here. I, however, do know where I'm going. I'm going to a Whalers concert. So I got a jet. I do apologize. I thank you, everybody, for putting up with my cell phone. James, if you're going to keep going, good luck, man. I'll see you guys on Sunday. And holy shit.
Later, pal. Thank you for being here. As he's frozen, there he goes. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're here with me right now, tell me what you think of all this. Tell me what you think of CM Punk's AEW departure. Tell me some of your happy CM Punk AEW memories. Are you happy to see him gone? Are you sad to see him go? Is there anything that you're hoping, we're hoping to see from Punk that we're probably never going to get now? What do they do now with Collision? Show is practically made for him. So I do want to address that because, yes, Collision as we know it was created because of the Punk situation. But it should be acknowledged that AEW did want to have a second show, or I guess a third show if you include Rampage. They always wanted another prime slot on TV. I don't know how they got stuck with Saturday, but they did. So that show was always going to happen. It was always going to exist in some form or another. It changed with the Punk Elite situation, and it worked out in the beginning, but clearly it wasn't a true solution to the problem. All it took was one co-branded show for it to happen, because it was, I think, the second or third time that you had the full roster in the building after the split. So I don't know what they do with it now, but I do think that it's just going to be another AEW product. And look, granted, AEW has so much incredible talent. So many talented people on their roster, but it is a very bloated roster. Who knows if they have space for, like, we know they don't have space for all the talent they have on Wednesday nights. Friday nights are tough because nobody's watching professional wrestling at 10 o'clock on a Friday night. So Saturday was a nice alleviation. So many talents that weren't getting highlighted because there wasn't room were getting highlighted on Collision. You had Andrade, who's having a career resurgence in AEW on Collision. You have Miro finally back in the fold. FTR were being highlighted. The Bang Bang Gang, Bullet Club Gold, taking over the show. Ricky Starks finally feeling like a true main eventer on Collision. Powerhouse Hobbs getting highlighted. Christian Cage being a menace with the TNT title on Collision. Collision will still have value without CM Punk. The question is, how many people are going to tune in if CM Punk isn't there? That's a scary thought. That's a scary question. I hope they do. I really hope they do, but time will tell. Dev, AEW has good stars, but Tony is a real stupid booker. Look, Tony has gotten a lot right since AEW started. He's gotten a lot wrong. I don't want to defend Tony Khan. I'm just trying to be objective here. AEW is a tale of two companies some days. You know, it is a little bit of everything. There are certain things that we've, especially here at the podcast, have criticized Tony and his booking for AEW. We all would love to see more women's wrestling. We would all love to see certain talents highlighted in ways that we don't get to appreciate them. That is just maybe due to time constraints, as I just talked about. But yeah, there have certainly been some questionable decisions from Tony Khan, the booker. But Tony has brought us a great company that Rev's camera phone is better than his webcam. I got nothing on that one. How were you right again, producer boy? Let me know. I want to hear it. But yeah, going back to you, Dev. AEW is a great company with great stars, but it's a young company. There are definitely growing pains. And I don't look for I'm a WWE fan. I'm an AEW fan. I'm an Impact fan. I'm a Ring of Honor fan. I'm a New Japan fan. I've been through highs and I've been through lows with every company. New Japan, which was the best booked company of the late, 2010s, went through a down spiral in the early 2020s, which I guess we're still in, but they're rebounding. Impact, Jesus Christ. From TNA to Impact, we had a rough journey there, but I'd say Impact is probably putting on the most consistently strong product of any professional wrestling company right now. Ring of Honor. I love Ring of Honor. I'm not going to say anything bad about Ring of Honor, but nobody's watching Ring of Honor. The Chicago crowd will be so hot tomorrow night. Why not just have Punk come out, cut a promo, and move on from him the next day? Well, realistically, if you know you're getting fired, if you know you're firing the guy, why put a live mic in his hand? I understand that could be very appealing to some people. I know for us fans, that would be, oh my God. But if you're Tony Khan and you're trying to protect your company, maybe not put a guy who's known for pipe bombs on the mic. Maybe not give him a mic the day before he's about to leave the company. I don't know how this is going to impact AEW's immediate booking plans, their immediate booking future. I don't know how this is going to affect the rest of the wrestling landscape. I'm sure, despite whatever negative feelings there might be, WWE has feelers out. They have to. They'd be dumb not to. Impact, I'm sure, would sell their entire roster to try and get Punk on. And New Japan, Punk has spoken at length about his love for Japanese wrestling and the Japanese legends that he watched as he was a fan and he was getting as he was growing up in the business. Maybe he has a small run in New Japan where he makes special appearances. I don't know. There's still plenty of thought that maybe he just goes away completely from the professional wrestling scene, as sad as that may be. But I don't know. Nobody will know until we know. That, as silly as that sounds, as ridiculous as that sounds, as duh as that sounds, it's just the truth. Nobody's going to know Punk's next move until he makes it. And I'm very intrigued with how AEW's landscape is going to appear from now on. I'm sure we're going to see lots of talent from Dynamite that stayed away from Collision because of Punk maybe now appear on that show, and vice versa. I'm sure there will be plenty of talent from Collision who are going to now find their way to Wednesday nights. So I think there's a whole shakeup that's coming to the AEW roster, because I've been telling everyone to use their phones as cams. Look, this is a brand new webcam with a brand new laptop, Eric. When I bought it, I bought the phone like from the same place I bought the computer, and they told me this camera is better. You're wrong. I don't know. Maybe about Nick. His computer is old as hell, but I'm good. You're not going to get a better image than this, and you don't want one, quite frankly. There's only so much HD can hide. But yeah, guys, CM Punk done with AEW. I'm going to tell you some of my fond CM Punk memories are I loved him teaming with Sting and Darby, getting face painted up. I thought that was a lot of fun. I know I've introduced people to AEW on the CM Punk MJF story, and they've said it's the best wrestling story they've ever seen. Period. They've said CM Punk MJF is their favorite wrestling story, no matter the company, no matter the brand. I respect that. It was an incredible storyline performed by two incredibly talented wrestlers. So I don't know. I see CM Punk's fingerprints, for better or for worse, are all over AEW now. There is going to be an entire young generation of fans who are going to know AEW as the only company they ever saw CM Punk wrestle it. That's a crazy thought to have, but it's the truth. So I don't want to besmirch his run in the company, as much drama as there was. The same way we don't like to erase Cody Rhodes's history with AEW, I want to apply the same thought process to Punk in AEW. We might not get too many references. We might not get too many remember whens or too many name drops, maybe for legal reasons. But I do hope his time with the company isn't completely forgotten or completely ignored or completely neglected. It was too important to the company. He did so much to help elevate the company that it would be a shame if all that time is forgotten. Now, again, criticism where criticism is due. Punk brought the problems too. There's been countless reports about how the morale in AEW's locker room hit all-time lows after Punk joined the company. All-time lows. And that's a shame. You don't ever want to hear that. You don't ever want to think about that. You don't want to think of your favorite superstars as problematic or troublesome backstage. And look, despite what is going on with the backstage locker room of the AEW talent, we know that CM Punk stands for a lot of good things, a lot of right things. He has used his platform. He has used his ability to advocate for others, to advocate for some very great causes. He's never shied away wearing T-shirts for women's rights, promoting signs for trans rights. Punk has done a lot to use his platform for good. Unfortunately, it seems that sometimes he wasn't really able to get out of his own way and to allow the good to just be there and to be at the forefront. But we're all human. We all make mistakes. We all are three-dimensional people. They're not just the characters they portray on TV. There's a lot of nuance to these people. And I hope that that's what's remembered. I don't want Punk's legacy to be all of this drama. It would be a disservice to his fans. It would be a disservice to all he's done for professional wrestling as a whole. But time will tell how that goes. Time, God willing, heals all wounds. Punk has always been a high-risk performer. Unfortunately, he might be known more for the lows than the highs. It's very possible. For every pipe bomb, for every Money in the Bank kiss to John Cena, for every The Last Dance on Rampage, for every MJF feud. You know, there are problems. There were stories of problems, and a lot of those, most of them were behind the scenes stuff that if they happened 20 years ago, we would have never known about. You know, it's a crazy time to be a professional wrestling fan or to be in the professional wrestling business. The curtain has been drawn back so far that who knows, like there's very little anonymity anymore. And there is a lot of transparency, for better or for worse. I'm mad now for no more Punk versus MJF 3. I'm with you there, Dev. I'm with you. It's a shame when you consider all the potential this had and all the hope, all the hope for what could have been. But unfortunately, we got to play with the cards that were dealt now. You know, MJF has lots to look forward to for being such a young performer, for being such a talented performer, and being currently at the top of AEW. There are lots of places for him to go. And as opposed to being upset about what we can't get, let's enjoy the 2 matches they did have and how fantastic and how memorable they are. But we're pretty much going to wrap up soon. We don't have much to report right now. I haven't seen too much news. MJF has to come out and bury Punk. Maybe somebody needs to address the elephant in the room. You know, somebody needs to. That's a very good point, Eric. I don't know if you have it be the Elite. I don't know if you want to get mega heat on Jack Perry. You have it be him. Maybe that's what he needs, but if I'm Danny, I don't want that wasted on Jack Perry. But somebody's going to need to address the elephant in the room. They can't just pretend that he's gone, and that's it. I never appreciated that growing up when WWE did that, and I won't appreciate it now. But yeah, like I said, as right now, not a lot coming out. I haven't been able to check any new reports as I'm on here with you guys. But as more news comes out, be sure to know that we will cover it here at the Market Down Podcast. If you have anything, if you have any comments, please leave them for us. You know, we love talking with you guys. We want to hear how you feel. Vent. Let us know. We appreciate Dev telling us how he feels. We appreciate, you know, the deal. Thank you, Eric. Always a pleasure, producer boy. We love you. But yeah, this has been a crazy, crazy story, and I'm sure more details will leak as time goes by, and we will cover it here at the Market Down Podcast. If you want to keep up with all the wrestling news that is going on in this crazy professional wrestling world, please give us a follow here on YouTube. If you're not watching us on YouTube, if you're checking us out on any other form of social media, check us out. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have Twitter. We're everywhere. So if you want to keep up with all the craziness, know we will be here covering it with you. I will be covering WWE Payback tonight. To cover the results of that show, and I'm sure I'm going to be talking about what happened on Collision tonight. We will also be covering All Out tomorrow. It's going to be explosive, so be sure to watch us there. And thank you guys for joining us. It is crazy, but as Marks, we're here with you, and if you're here with us, we'll all get through it together. Thank you. I'm James Gisanti, and please remember, mark it down.